Been traveling around the world and would like to top it a notch? Do you want to travel in extreme yet terrifying places in the world? You are in the right video. Here in Informafacts, we will talk about the top terrifying places in the world. Before we proceed with the video, please do not forget to subscribe and click the notification button for you not to miss our newest video. Number 15. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. The path from La Paz to Xochimilco, Bolivia, is a treacherous one. The North Yungas Road weaves precariously through the Amazon rainforest at a height of more than 15,000 feet. When you consider that frightening elevation, not to mention the 12-foot wide single lane, lack of guardrails, and limited visibility due to rain and fog, it's easy to see why this 50-mile stretch of highway has earned the nickname the Death Road. While the North Yungas Road used to see some 200 to 300 annual deaths, it has now become more of a destination for adventurous mountain bikers than a vehicular thoroughfare. Number 14. Nagoro, Japan. Nagoro is a tiny Japanese village with one very notable feature: a life-sized doll population that outnumbers the human population nearly 10-1. The toy residents are the work of local Xochimilco, who began making doll replicas of her neighbors after they died or moved away. The eerie doppelgangers can be seen in various positions across the town: fishermen sitting on the river bank, students filling entire classrooms, elderly couples resting on benches outside of buildings. There are now around 350 dolls and 27 breathing humans. The youngest is over the age of 50 in Nagoro, making it a quirky and somewhat terrifying toyland. Number 13. Hill of Crosses, Šiauliai, Lithuania. People have been placing crosses on this hill in northern Lithuania since the 14th century. In the benign, throughout the medieval period, the crosses expressed a desire for Lithuanian independence. Then, after a peasant uprising in 1831, people began adding to the site in remembrance of dead rebels. The hill became a place of defiance once again during Soviet occupation from 1944 to 1991. The hill and crosses were bulldozed by Soviets 3 times, but locals kept rebuilding it. There are now more than 100,000 crosses crowded there, clashing together in the breeze like eerie wind chimes. Number 12. Island of the Dolls, Xochimilco, Mexico. Despite its history and status as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Xochimilco is primarily known for its Isla de las Muñecas, or Island of the Dolls. Hidden among the borough's many canals, the tiny island is famous for the hundreds of dolls and doll parts hanging from trees and scattered among the grass. Although it looks more like a horror movie set than anything else, the Chinampa, akin to an artificial island, used to be the actual residence of a now deceased man named Julian Santa Barrera. After finding a dead girl's body in a nearby canal, Barrera collected and displayed the toys in the hopes of warding off evil spirits. Daring souls can hire their own boat, try to convince the driver to pay it a visit, and view it safely from the water. Number 11. Taylor Glacier, Antarctica. It may look like a geological crime scene, but the 5-story, crimson waterfall of Taylor Glacier, aka Blood Falls, is a completely natural wonder. The phenomenon can be traced back about 5 million years, when the glacier sealed off a micro-rich lake beneath it. Isolated from light and oxygen, the water became more and more concentrated, both in terms of salt and iron content. The water's salinity level, about 3 times saltier than the ocean, keeps it from freezing, while the iron provides the color. It then seeps out through a fissure in the glacier, and we get to witness a gory display. Number 10. Wilhelmshaven Hospital, Germany. If this old German hospital looks disturbing, well, it is. Between 1898 and 1930, the Wilhelmshaven complex, a 50-minute drive south of Berlin, served as a tuberculosis sanatorium. It also housed mustard gas and machine gun victims during World War I, including a young soldier named Adolf Hitler, who had been wounded in the leg. The hospital later went on to be a major treatment center for Nazi soldiers during World War II, and it was used as a Soviet military hospital from 1945 until the fall of the Berlin Wall. Today, a few hospital wards are used as a neurological rehabilitation center, although the majority of the complex is abandoned. The surgery and psychiatric wards have both been left to decay and give way to nature and vandals, and the result looks like something straight out of American Horror Story. Definitely not an enjoyable day trip for the easily spooked. Number 9. Christ of the Abyss, San Fructuoso, Italy. Although there are several versions of the same Jesus statue scattered around the ocean floor, including Key Largo, pictured. The original version is located in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of San Fructuoso. The 8-foot-tall likeness was commissioned by Italian diver Duilio Marcanti in 1954. Marcanti wanted to place some sort of memorial at the exact spot where his friend Dario Gonzatti died while diving a few years prior. And thus, Christ of the Abyss was born. The result is vaguely spooky, especially with the deity's outreached arms and upward gaze. The algae and corrosion only add to the effect. Although the statue was removed from its watery home in 2003 for some much-needed restoration, including replacing a hand that a rogue anchor had broken off. Regardless of whether you find the monument eerie or beautiful, or both, it's certainly worth taking a 55-foot dive down to snap an underwater selfie with Jesus. Number 8. Pripyat, Ukraine. If there was ever a poster child for eerily abandoned places around the world, then it would have to be Pripyat. Established in 1970, the city had reached a population of nearly 50,000 by the time it was entirely evacuated after the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. Pripyat has remained an uninhabited city since the evacuation, although the buildings, furniture, and all other signs of life are exactly where its former citizens left them. Weathered books can be found in classrooms, decaying dolls lie abandoned in cribs, and photographs are still in their original frames. The most famous landmark is the Pripyat Amusement Park's Ferris wheel, a skeletal reminder of what used to be. And now, following the airing of HBO's Chernobyl series, Ukraine's government has announced that the site will become an official tourist attraction. Number 7. Hanging Coffins, Sagada, Philippines. If you want to visit the dead in Sagada, you'll have to look up, rather than 6 feet under. The people of this region are known for burying their dead in coffins attached to the sides of cliffs, like an aerial cross-section of your average cemetery. The tradition goes back thousands of years. Carve out your own coffin, die, and get hoisted up next to your ancestors. Many of the cliffside coffins are hundreds of years old and all look completely different, as they were specially made by the person who now rests inside of them. Number 6. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. While Jocelyn led us to believe that the entrance to hell could be found in Sunnydale, California, he was actually some 7,500 miles off. Located in the middle of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan is the Door to Hell, a name locals gave to a 230-foot wide crater that simply won't stop burning. When Soviet scientists began searching for oil back in 1971, they accidentally hit a methane reserve and the drilling platform collapsed, forming the crater and releasing dangerous gas into the air. The scientists decided to light the crater on fire to burn off the methane, creating a Dante-esque anomaly that has remained lit for the past 40-plus years. Number 5. Capuchin Catacombs, Palermo, Italy. Of all the catacombs in the world, from Salzburg to Paris, none are quite as creepy as Sicily's Catacomb dei Cappuccini, Capuchin Catacombs. The macabre space was created back in the late 16th century, when the cemetery at the Capuchin monastery became overrun. Religious men were originally intended to be the exclusive residents, but once word got out about the natural mummification processes occurring in the space, it soon became a status symbol for local citizens to earn a final resting spot there, in their best clothing, of course. As a result, the underground tombs now contain around 8,000 bodies divided into separate corridors, including one for religious figures, one for professional men, one for children, and even one for virgins. The corpses are displayed like a museum exhibit, dressed to the nines and arranged in grotesquely lifelike posts. Sound like fun? Number 4. Sedlec Ossery, Kutná Hora, Czech Republic. The incredible Sedlec Ossery is a small chapel located beneath the cemetery Church of All Saints, known worldwide for its macabre decor. Back in the early 1300s, an abbot of the Sedlec monastery brought back holy soil from Jerusalem and scattered it across the church's cemetery. And suddenly everyone wanted to be buried in that sacred ground. But overpopulation kicked in and the old bodies had to be dug up to make room for fresh corpses. In true waste not, want not fashion, the abbots decided to put the exhumed bones to good use. A local Czech woodcarver named František Hrint was given the daunting task of arranging the collection of more than 40,000 human remains in a visually impressive way, and he clearly delivered. The bony structures include 4 candelabras, a family crest, and several streamers of bones cascading down from the ceiling. The most stunning display is probably the church's massive chandelier, which contains almost every bone found in the human body, plus some creepy cherubs for good measure. Number 3. Gigahara Forest, Yamanashi Prefecture, Japan. This seemingly serene forest at the bottom of Mount Fuji has an extremely tormented history. Colloquially known as Suicide Forest, Gigahara is the world's second most popular site for suicides after the Golden Gate Bridge. In 2010 alone, 247 people attempted to take their own lives here, and 54 of them were successful. Some blame this phenomena on the forest's association with demons in Japanese mythology. Others point towards the density of the trees, which muffles sound and makes it extremely easy to get lost. Many hikers even mark their path with tape or string to make it easier to find their way back out again. This, combined with the sprinkling of clothing and letters throughout the labyrinthine woods, gives Gigahara a terrifying Blair Witch meets Palace of Nassau's vibe that will chill you to your bones. Number 2. Snake Island, São Paulo, Brazil. Located about 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, Ilha de Queimada Grande, also known as Snake Island, is one of the most dangerous islands in the entire world. The site earned its moniker due to its insanely high density of golden lancehead vipers. Some studies report an average of 1 to 5 snakes per square meter. When sea levels rose some 11,000 years ago and separated Snake Island from mainland Brazil, the newly isolated snakes became hyper-evolved and hyper-terrifying to adapt to their changing environment. Without any ground-level prey on the island, the snakes learned to hunt in the treetops and strike at birds from the air. And because they couldn't track down the birds and wait for the poison to kick in, their venom adapted to become 5 times stronger than that of their mainland counterparts, capable of killing their prey instantly, as well as melting human flesh. Because of their potency, the Brazilian government bans the public from ever setting foot on the island, as if you would want to. Number 1. Veijo Sculpture Garden, Färikala, Finland. Veijo was one of the most famous contemporary folk artists in Finland during his lifetime, but he was also a recluse, refusing to showcase his pieces in public spaces. Instead, he built his collection of nearly 500 concrete figures in his backyard, forming his own personal sculpture garden in the process. The biggest display on the grounds is a group of around 200 statues arranged in a variety of yoga poses. While there's something obviously unsettling about the sculptures, supposedly all self-portraits, they are nowhere close to being the most sinister items in the garden. Ronconen's collection features an array of creepy individual statues, from a nun lurking behind bushes to a cloaked man with long, outstretched arms. The malevolent grins, accessorized with real human teeth, and black, sunken eyes of these figures are exactly what the doctor ordered. Provided you have a desire to never sleep peacefully again. We hope you had fun in this video. Please do not forget to subscribe and click the notification button for you not to miss our newest update. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.